cruising right along. You've made it to number 4. I hope this one you found easier and straightforward and that you're just using this to check. Once again, you don't have to listen to me. Just fast forward to the parts that you have questions on, or just fast forward to make sure that you're getting each one of them right. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Let's get started. They've already made the table for us, but just to be thorough and keep doing what we know to do, I want to recreate it because it just helps us get it in our head what is really going on. The X's, we have 2, 4, 6, 8. The Y's, we have 52. And 208. And this time I'm going to label it just a little bit different. X's are the number of times used, but it's still my domain and it still is independent. And the reason I label it different is because it's labeled different. We're not talking about X and Y's anymore. We're talking about a function in a real life situation. So all of your answers are going to have to model the real life situation. The Y is the total number of dishes washed. I hope your handwriting is neater than mine, but it's still the range and it is still independent. X is still on the left, Y is still on the right. Nothing has changed. It's still everything that you know. It just has different words associated with it. So same thing. We're going to find an equation to go with it. Second plus 712. Let's go to Stat, Edit, 2468. And 208. Okay, I've got all that in there. Let's Stat 5. Okay. Looking at our calculator, we've got A equals 0, B equals 26, and C equals 0. So I always like to get rid of my 0 terms, and we end up with f of x equals 26. Sorry guys, instead of a b, that should be an x. Not very neat. So look, f of x is the same thing as y. Y equals 26x. Y is total number of dishes washed, so the total number of dishes washed equals 26 times the number that it's used. I mean, you're just replacing words now for y and x. Let's keep going. Intercepts. We've got y equals 26x plus 0. So we know that the y-intercept is 0. And if you don't remember how to use that slope-intercept form of your equation, it's perfectly all right because our calculator is a great tool. You can put 26x or you can put 26x plus 0. I'm going to leave it as 26x because that's what we have up at the top. So let's graph it. And if you'll notice, it's a really steep line right there, and it's not really helping me all that much. I think I'd rather see a table of points. Look, we have that 0, 0 situation again. So my x-intercept, and remember, x is the number of times used, is at 0, 0, and my y-intercept is number of dishes washed, is also at 0, 0. So guys, what it's telling me is that and it makes sense, when my dishwasher has run 0 times, I've washed 0 dishes. We're just putting the numerical value and also the verbal explanation with it. We saw in our calculator that this was a linear function, so we're still, y equals x is still our parent function. Looks like that. Y equals x. This we know is just a really steep graph that goes through 0, 0. I'm afraid to even try, you guys. Oh, that's not too bad. And that's just how I'm going to leave it. It was a very steep graph because at 1, when x is 1, y should equal 26, and it's way, way up here. The slope, so remember we keep talking about mx plus b, and our m is 26. I like to say 26 over 1 because it's way more descriptive. So we know that it's the change in y over the change in x. And so y is the total number of dishes washed. So 26 dishes are washed. For every one time the dishwasher is used. And that's why we're always asking for the numerical value and the verbal explanation, because there's no telling what STAR test is going to ask you. They may ask you to give a verbal description of the slope, to tell you what that table means in terms of the slope. And if you remember your tools and you're able to work through this table in your head, you can answer any possible question that they could ask you. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. Just a few more to go.